Jason,
How are you, man?
I'm good. We meet again. We just can't stay away from each other. I love
Oh, yeah, can't get you out of my head.
it. Mate, so big news. You recently performed your first gig with Ro. How did he go? He didn't fall off the stage or get
Not
lost?
so far, man. No, he was great. Yeah, probably obviously nerves there for the first show on the Gold Coast, but then he totally opened up when we played Western Australia. That was a different vibe, and just yeah, he's in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. When it became apparent that you had to move forward with another guitarist, what made you come to choose Ro? What made him stand out?
I'd actually been talking to Ro just sort of through my solo project. He just commented on when I released that a couple of years ago. And then I was like, who's I Built the Sky? Checked him out, went, fuck, this is really cool. And then we just started talking. And then he's like, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Sunk LOTO. And then he actually sent me just a couple of tracks that we were just going to work on that never eventuated, but just sort of stayed in contact. And
Hmm.
yeah, that's really how it sort of happened.
What were were the kind of qualities you were looking for in like what I guess does sunk material demand of a guitar player?
To think outside the box, to be really sonically creative as well as brutal sledgehammer sort of riffage. Um, but in saying that, in the past, I've always been working on the guitar stuff as well in hand with everyone, and same with Ro. Ro probably he probably took the lead a bit more with the new stuff, where I was a little more hands-on guitar wise.
Hmm.
I just went, fuck, man, what you're doing is just so good. I don't really want to touch it. But yeah, sort of when we did a bit of pre-production, there were a few riffs from me, mostly from him. And yeah, just what we're looking for is exactly what he has, man. And it's also writing wise takes a lot of pressure off me
Hmm.
to I can really focus on my vocals and lyrics instead of sort of focusing on all the other elements.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
What the from what I saw of the video, the video diary that you put up. I mean, obviously you only put the good stuff there. There's no you flipping over a table because you didn't get your fruit slices or what, your fruit thing. But the vibes seem pretty good. Like, how
Yeah.
much material have you guys got down now?
We've got ideas that are sort of floating around. But those two songs, like they were sort of from sessions a while ago. And we were intending to sort of release them potentially this year in a different way, but things changed, as we know, and so did everything around that. Um, and so we rewrote the whole thing. Basically, the songs turned into something very different. But that happened in probably 3 weeks, really.
Hmm.
Um, it happened really quickly and quicker than anything's ever happened for the band to write music. It's usually been a bit more of a tedious process, but it just happened with so much ease. And literally, it all sort of came together in that little short doco thing you can see. Um, we just went to Sean's dad's house for 2 days and just bashed it all out. And we're like, sweet, done. We track. So we again have a lot of those blueprints and skeletons lying around. And if we're going off how it all came together last time, I think hopefully next year we're in the studio recording a full length. Yeah.
Nice. So what? So at this point, is the plan only to debut the Gallows Wait? Is the second track ready for airing yet?
It's ready to go.
Yeah.
Just sort of sitting on it until this tour is done. We debated whether we release two songs for this tour,
Hmm.
which sort of would have liked to give fans something more to chew on.
Mm.
But I also understand the way we're going to do things is next year we'll drop this next track that's ready. and
Hmm.
then it's a bit of time to hit the studio, and then yeah, but it's ready to go. It's fucking heavy, like extra. It's the heaviest thing we've ever done.
Ooh, there's
Yeah,
the quote right
yeah.
there.
It's also, I would say, it's the heaviest thing we've ever done, but it's also like it's got moments that are super mellow, well, not mellow, but very melodic and
Mm,
very sort of like held back. But the explosions of heaviness are extreme.
yeah.
Yeah.
You so to what extent was it a strategic move on your part to play Brisbane on my birthday?
I just had to ask your friends, man, and just put it together for you, you know.
Fair.
Yeah.
Uh,
I hope you appreciate it because we're going
oh,
all
mate, I intend to be bringing my world-class headbanging once again to the front
the
area. I'm loving all those live videos, man. That fucking killed it. Someone actually screenshotted me and put it on the Sunk Loto fans. It's like, I hope I can enjoy life as much as old mate up the front row. And there's an arrow pointing at me. And I was like, that's me.
You're hard to miss.
um,
You're actually filming the Tivoli, by the way. So
yes, I
yeah,
heard. So I'm like,
yeah, we're pro filming that, which is going to be cool.
that's sick,
Hopefully
man.
released, yeah, proper.
Is this done through Moshcam again?
No, this is done through Colin Jeffs, actually,
Huh.
a friend of ours who's done a lot of clips for Die Art and other bands like that. But yeah, he's going to be filming that and hopefully doing the clip for the next track. Yeah, so and we're sort of wanting to start putting together an actual documentary,
Mm.
like a full length, I don't know, 90-minute doco of the history of the band from the start through everything, all the bad stuff, all the good stuff, and
Mm.
up until now, sort of thing. I think we've got a real story to tell. So,
Yeah.
mm,
It's it's funny, man. I was going back through some of my old interviews from like way back in the day, and I found one that I did with Parkway Drive back in 2006. And I'm just thinking, like, fucking hell, man, if Sunk had stuck it out back in the day, do you think you guys would be playing at the same level as like I recently in my review of the Gallows Wait compared you to to Parkway and Polaris. Like, do you think Sunk would be at that level, or would it have the wheels have just completely come off?
I think the wheels were coming off, whether we wanted them to come off or not. And that we fought that for a few years until people just went, I'd rather be happy, basically.
Yeah.
I'd rather enjoy my life than go through what we're going through. Um, yeah, so anyway, here we are. It's
Mm,
worked it's worked out for the best after a few hiccups even recently, but yeah, but to your question, I don't know, maybe. I think musically, yes, we could have definitely, if we had have continued to release the quality that we were producing, yes, we could have done that. But to be honest, we feel like we're back to actually do that. That's
yeah, yeah.
um we've obviously we started when we were 16, 17 years old, so puts us in a space where we're not too old now. We still feel like we've got plenty of years ahead of us. And our goal is to actually completely rekindle the band to where it should have gone. And
Mm.
we believe we can and will take it internationally and on the biggest scale we possibly can.
Yeah, because I remember that kind of struck me when the Gallows Wait came out, and it's your first professionally produced music in years and years, and I remember thinking, holy shit, it sounds up at up at the same level, and it's like you guys have just you know push yourself back in line and say, hey, missed us.
Yeah, yeah, and that was, I don't think that was a goal. Well, of course it was a goal, but that wasn't in our minds at the time. Is like we want to try and sort of, but we just think what we have to offer is we believe we can produce the best of the best,
Mm.
um, and that's our intent, and that's we won't release anything until we think it's as good as it can possibly be.
So you and I have spoken in the past that obviously, between birth and death is a pretty radical departure for you guys sonically. Do you think that? in time an album like Big Picture Lies might also get this kind of anniversary treatment?
I've seen a few people saying that, actually calling for it, but who knows? Who knows? I think we've got a lot of we now like feel like we've revisited a very important chapter in the band's history, especially being the 20-year anniversary. It sort of just accidentally lined up that
Mm.
we're here now, and it's 20 years, so we're sort of celebrating that. But I think we, like a lot of people have said, do you want to do this from the past and this? And we're like, well, we're sort of done with the past for now. It's
Mm.
all about this new phase for the band. We want to release new music. We want to put out a new record. We want to bring also younger people into the fold of following Sunk. And I think the way to do that is releasing fresh new stuff.
Mm.
And then who knows, 2, 3 albums later from where we are now, we may go back and revisit that cool old stuff,
Yeah.
which would be a total head trip.
What obviously you've had two very distinct, you know, periods of your life with Sunk. How have you? What are you has been the biggest change that you've noticed in the Australian music scene from when Sunk left to when Sunk returned?
I've noticed heavy music has become a lot more noticed. When we were coming through, it was like there were obviously heavy bands, but no one was getting any attention.
Mm.
We were sort of probably one of the first bands that got attention. Um, and even like around Between Birth and Death, it was just no one wanted to really know about heavy music above the underground level in Australia. What I notice now is that's changed, and that's probably thanks to streaming and all the other stuff we have now. But you've got heavy Australian bands that are headlining European festivals and headlining entertainment centers in this country. That would have never have happened when we were around.
Yeah, I've noticed exactly the same thing. You're seeing like particularly the success with with Parkway. It's just I haven't seen that much pyro this side of Ramstein, and I'm wondering
Yeah.
if the we didn't really have any specific large scale metal festivals when Sunk was first around, like the Sound Waves and that kind of thing. It was only really starting to come into the fold, and I wonder if they had come in earlier, if
Yeah.
maybe things would have been a lot different.
Yeah, for sure. We always wanted that stuff when we were around, but it just wasn't in Australia. But yeah, it's great. It's the heavy scene in Australia is thriving. Like I would personally say it's probably the strongest on a grassroots level, with festivals and stuff and with mass followings and also loyalty. Like metal fans are, once you get a fan of metal into your band or into a metal band, I feel like they just rusted on for life.
Mm.
I feel like with other genres, all due respect, they sort of come and go. It's who's cool at the time, who's the cool kids, but they rarely last. They rarely last 10, 20 years, but metal bands seem to hang around for a long time.
What's that old Brian Posian line? It's like I've never seen a guy rip his shirt off and yell R&B.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dear. All right, mate. This has been awesome. Thank you very much for your time. And yes, mate, I will be fucking beaming up at you in Brisbane. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome, man. Cheers, dude. I'll try and come and see you.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Love it. All right. Thank you, Tim.